Hi everyone, I hope you people are doing great. I am Punya Agarwal, ACC affiliate, co-founder of Being ACCA. In this video, we are going to cover a very small area, but I would say this is a very important area for all SBL students who all are giving their SBL exam. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the formats that are commonly tested in your SBL exam. I know this is a very basic topic and you might think that it's not really important. I already know these all formats already. But sometimes, we miss on something which is really very important and we do not tend to write that. So it's always good that, we have a brush up on the formats also, because this is something which I personally believe that this is a very neglected topic as well. So that is the reason I came up with this video, in order to explain to you about the formats, the different types of common formats are being followed. So let's start with, I have opened the presentation formats from your SBL study hub only, so that you can get the reference also, and you can get the same format on your portal as well, on your ACCA study hub as well. So you don't need to actually go through some notes or something on those lines. It's all available on your ACCA practice on your portal as well. All right, so first, when we start with the first thing, which is a briefing paper. Now this is a very common area which is always asked in your SBL exams, and it's a very common portion which is being tested. Now, for briefing paper, now the normal format that we follow is for the attention of. So, who are we referring to? Who is it for? Is it for the board of directors? Is it for the TCWG? Is it for any manager? Who is it for? So basically, who are you referring the briefing paper to? That is basically your for the attention of. To XYZ, you can also write to XYZ. Then you always write a subject regarding the same. So subject is very important. You should never ever skip the subject, because I think this is something which again accounts for your professional marks also. In SBL, we do not only have we not only have technical marks, of course, but we also have professional marks, which is equally very important. So that is the reason, you should focus upon the formats also. We have so many of technical marks in the same, so that is the reason we should always know this. Another format that is usually commonly followed, I would think that you people would also be thinking right now that whether that is fine or no, which is when we write to, which we write subject, from, date, and then we write the introduction. Now, this is also a very commonly widely spread formatting that we usually use. And yes, this is absolutely correct. This is just like your report format also. In the report also, we tend to write this format. And if you're writing this in the briefing paper as well, I think it just equally is fine. So if you cater to this one, it's fine. If you cater to this one, is fine. All right. Now, one thing I want to tell you, apart from the formatting, I'll just quickly show you over here. One thing apart from formatting, I would like to say is, when we are writing our answers, supposingly I'll show it over here. Supposingly I've written to, I've written from, then the date is there. Always write the date also. Do not leave it blank. I've seen some of the students leaving it blank, but do not leave it. Either you can write the date of your exam, or you can write the date from the question as well. All right, so date should not be left blank. Then subject has to be there, a one liner small subject. Do not write 2 to 3 liner subject, that does not make any sense. Then you write the introduction, right? You write your introduction over here, that what are you talking really about. So introduction sets the tone of what you're writing, and then there has to be a body, and then there has to be a conclusion. Now, a lot of students tend to forget conclusion. I personally believe that you should always write conclusions, because they're very important to summarize whatever you have stated, and also to get the professional marks in order to complete your formatting as well, right? That's that. Then the body, I would say, for body, always use headings, always use subheadings. The examiner does not want you to give them a big chunky paragraph, and they have to analyze, or they have to identify as to what are you stating, and then read each and every line very carefully, not to give you 1 mark, 2 mark, etc. Rather, I'll give you two case scenarios. All right, so one is when I'm writing, I'm writing, I'm just blabbering, I'm just vomiting whatever I know, everything in like a everything in like here. But second example can be when you're writing 1 point, then there is a heading. You leave a line, then you write 2 points, you write 2 points separately, then you give second point, then you write the heading. then you give 2 points separately, 2 points separately. So which one is better? Of course, the second one. I as an examiner will be intrigued to read this point rather than reading this point, right? So this is what, for body, this is common for every formatting. This is not just for your briefing paper, reporting, or emails, etc. It's common for every topic, I would want to say, because I have evaluated a lot of scripts till now, and in most of the scripts I noticed this common mistake that people usually do, especially in subjective papers like SBL, that they also in AAA, if you be watching for AAA, people usually attempt in this format. It's always better to attempt in this. Not only your technical marks will tend to increase, if supposing I'm giving 1.5 here, probably I give you 2 over here because I'm able to clearly see the points. I do not have to find the points, right? Because in the, I always say that examiner should not have the tendency to find the points. They should be easily able to locate them. Aise aankhon ke, it should be at the front of their eyes, and not they have to find it. If they're finding it, then that's a problem. If they have to find it, that's a problem, right? So that is what we have to avoid. So make sure that you are writing the answers in this format for the body, and then you're also giving a conclusion for the same. All right, let's move to the next format. So this is your briefing paper. They've also given you an example for the same, so if you want to refer to this example as well, you can do that. Otherwise we can move ahead. So basically they've given the for your information, for the attention of, subject is there, little bit of introduction paragraph is there, then body is there over here, right? And then they have also yeah, although the most powerful stake, etc. So they have also given us the conclusion for the same, although they have not written the heading, conclusion, body, introduction. But I always say that introduction you can write, then give the introduction, then conclusion you can write, then you can give the conclusion as well. All right, let's move to the next format, which is of a report, which is of a business case. I think we've right now only discussed the same regarding the same as well. Report is a very, very common topic, again, which is tested in SBL, which is tested in AAA as well. This is a format that we always follow. Short paragraphs, 2 to 3 sentences. Again, for the introduction also, sometimes I recently evaluated few scripts for AAA as well. And I found that they have written the introduction in this lengthy. I'm not even exaggerating over here, guys. I'm just telling you the truth that there are some people who keep on writing, copy pasting the statements on the question. They do not realize that it is becoming so lengthy that it will not fetch you marks. If you want to write this much, rather break it down into 3-liner paragraph and then make it like a 3-liner paragraph, short paragraphs. I'm talking about everything, not just about the introduction. It's about the body of the, your portion as well. You should always bifurcate in small paragraphs. If you can give a heading, you can do that as well. If your heading also has a sub point, also try and give that a heading, bold it out, highlight it, something on those lines, so that it just should be easier for the examiner to see as to what you're writing, right? If the examiner is easily able to see, okay, this is 1 point, this is 1 point, this is second point, this is third point, they'll give you marks. But if they have to find the answers again, same reiterating the same thing, it will be very difficult for you to score marks. All right, so this is what they have written. So if you see over here as well, they have given a heading, they have written first paragraph, then they have given the second paragraph. Similarly, they have given another heading. There are a couple of points over here, so they have given regulatory risk, reputational risk, currency risk. Separate headings are also being given over here, right? So then there is a separate again another heading, then they have given a separate paragraph for explanation. So this is how you should actually explain. If you're somebody who is doing in the other formatting, please avoid that. It will be a huge problem in the paper. Alright, another format type that can be asked in the exam is of a letter. This is not really very commonly asked, but can be asked. Of course, we have to be prepared for everything and anything. So, sabse pehle, the first thing that we have to write is the name and the position of the recipient who's receiving it. Of course, as we usually write in the letter as well. But you should be very, very careful of who is receiving the letter. So, for example, if it is the CEO of this or a manager, whosoever, so you should firstly write the name of the person if it is given to you. If not, then you can just write the designation of the person that is being given to you in the question. All right. Usually the name of the person is also given. So you have to write the name of the person, and then you write the recipient position, the designation of the person as well. All right. Then you write the date as just like I told you right now, that you have to write at least the date. If it's not given in the question, you can write the current date of the exam also. All right, that's that. And then you write the year for the person that you're referring to. You can also write the date over here on this side as well. It's totally dependent upon you. If you write on the right hand side, that's fine. If you want to write on the left hand side, that's also fine. That's not a problem. Then again, for introduction, you short paragraphs, yours sincerely, signatures, and the name of the position who's pinned. So signatures are not necessary, I would say, but name and designation of the sender, who's sending the information, who's sending the letter, basically, is really very, very important, right? So that is how you can draft your answers in SBL for letter as well. All right. Next. Next, with the presentations, I think presentation will 110% come in the SBL paper, that's for sure. So presentation means this example can be followed. If you are given, there are usually, they ask you two presentation slides, usually they ask you two presentation slides. So first can be written as the heading, whatever they are asking. If they're asking the advantages, I've seen a question where they asked you to do the presentation slides for advantages and disadvantages of sustainability reporting or integrated reporting, all of these. So you can write advertisements of advantages of sustainability reporting, etc. And then you can write the pointers over here in this format, exactly in this format. Now, one common mistake that I found in most of the scripts that I've evaluated for SBL is that you people know that when this is what is the format for the slide presentation slides, and then below this we give like notes, accompanying notes or notes to the above presentation slides, something on those lines, wherein we're explaining these pointers as well, right? Now I've seen students that they start writing their answers without any context. Like, of course, they're exaggerating this one, they're writing as per this one, but how will the examiner know that which point have you referred over here? Right, so that is also what I say, that always correspond your answers to the answers that you're writing in the notes section as well. All right, so note section would you can just put like here, first point, developing strategy, and then write 2 to 3 lines for the same. Then you write second point, then you write this same over here, so that I as an examiner, I'm getting a context that, okay, they have elaborated this point over here, they have elaborated this point over here, they have elaborated this point over here. I am not left to again think more about it, that as to what point your points are referring to. And sometimes, people, I am not denying the fact that, you do try your level best to do the presentation, but sometimes student, I've also seen scripts wherein this is, in points form, and then in the notes portion they give in a paragraph form, just like this. No context, nothing. They've explained in just like a box paragraph. That is again a huge presentation mistake, guys. Please avoid that. Always just think in your head, just keep this in your head, feed this in your head, that if you're appearing for AAA, if you're appearing for SBL, you cannot afford to write big chunky paragraphs. You always have to write small paragraphs, be it any question, be it any format. Heading, points, small paragraphs. If you think that you're writing too much, pehle pura likh lo. You can write the big paragraph that you want to write, and then put spaces in between, so that it becomes little presentable and legible also to the examiner, right? So that's that. If you read your notes strategy, even they have given the headings for the same. So this is what I was referring to, that always you need to give the headings for the same, for so that at least the examiner gets a context, that, okay, if I have to look for people's role, I can see over here. I don't have to read all of these, I can just read people's role and I'm good to go. If I want to read something in terms of the risk oversight, you can just go here and read it. And guys, SBL again is a very, very practical paper. Practical in the sense real life case scenario based paper. So you people, if you people are working, you people would also know that presentations are very, very important, and correct referencing is also very important. Think of, your manager or you only, you asked your employees that I want a presentation for this one and please make the same. And your employees, what they did was that they, in the presentation slides, they have done this, and then when they want to explain it to you what these points actually mean, they have given the notes to the same the above pointers, but they have given in a box format. This all is not there, it's just a box format. So if you want to refer to the PPT and you just want to see one of the key pointers over here, you have to read all of it and try to find it out. You will be irritated, right? So same is the case with the examiner as well. So that is the reason SBL is the most practical paper, I would say, because this is something which we actually use in real life also. As board of directors, when the directors are having some reporting, etc., from their employees or from their management, they always get the reporting, similar kind of reporting that you people will be drafting in the SBL paper. So it's always better the thing from an examiner's as well as a real life scenario, that if I were to see a presentation like this, will I be very irritated or will I be very happy that okay, the presentation looks fine? Because the main aim of presentation is what? Is to make your life easy, because paragraphs har jagah hote hain, but presentation is for visual appeal also, so that you just click and just say okay, this is what I was referring to, right? So that's that for presentation. So always when we are referencing our answers in AAA as well as SBL, think of that if somebody were to give you this report and you're in your hand, would you be okay? Would you be fine? Would you not be irritated with that? Or would you be very, very happy with that, with the presentation I'm talking about? All right. So that's that. That's the last part. So I think these are some of the commonly tested formatting. I've told you the formatting for all of these tested. I've also told you some of the mistakes that students usually do for the presentation perspective. I hope that this video was helpful for you. Do let me know if you people have any doubts, any questions for the formatting portion, for the presentation portions, for the professional marks portion. I'll be more than happy to help you out with that, and all the very, very best for your upcoming June attempt.